Hello everyone, in this video we're going to be doing the advice generator app, and this time we're going to be building it in ReactJs. So you can go ahead and click on this card, and I want to click on restart so that it starts as a new challenge. Okay, you can click on get started and you can say download starter, but since it already started this, then I'm not going to do this because I don't want to have duplicate files, right? So I'm going to open up the extracted file in my text editor, which is Visual Studio Code, and then we can begin. Okay, so once you download and extract the files, then you should have this in your workspace. So the design folder and the images folder and the default index.html, which is just this looking very crude, right? Now what I want to do is, and actually what I've already done is I've already canvassed a new React application, which is this right here, okay? And I've called it advice generator. So you can go ahead and say npx install, npx create React app advice generator. You can give this you can give your application whatever name that you want. I just prefer to call it like this, and then I'm going to open this up in VS Code by saying code dot right there. Okay, so this is my React application, and then what I want to do is just say npm run start, which should open up my React application on localhost 3000. Now I want to place this to the left, and I want to place my extracted folder from Frontend mentor to the right, because we want to do a bit of copying and pasting. So I want to copy the style guide, the readme template. We don't need to copy the index.html, and we need the images and the design. So just copy this, and then we can paste them inside here. So paste. And then what I want to do is these images, I want the favicon from here. So cut it out from here, and this is going to be inside the public folder. So paste it here, and then we can delete this default favicon from React. Okay, and then what I want to do next is the images folder. I'm going to cut it out from here and paste it inside my source folder. So paste it inside here. Okay, and then the design can remain right here. We don't really need it to be inside any other folder. And then once you have that, then I want to go inside the .gitignore. Okay, and I want to copy all of this, and then in my React application I want to go inside this gitignore, and right at the bottom I want to paste this in. And then we need to change this from line 5 to line 29, and this from line 6 to line 30, and then this is going to say 36, and we can save this, and I think we should be ready to begin, but we are not yet because we need to change this from favicon.ico to favicon-32 by 32.png. Okay, and probably we should change this as well as this, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. So let's go ahead and save this. And what I want to do is, just because I want this video to move a bit faster and because we've already done it before, I want to go ahead and inside the repository for the vanilla app that we created, then I just want to grab the CSS, okay, because it's going to be faster. So let me just find out where that repository is. So this right here, so vanilla advice generator, and inside the style.css I just want to copy everything. Okay, oops, not everything, but just this. Copy all this to the bottom. So copy this, and then inside my React application I'm going to go inside the index.css, and then I'm just going to paste it inside here, and we should have this. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's do a bit of cleanup. So let me delete this file and this file and this and this and this, and then just say delete. And then inside the index.js I want to remove this because we've deleted it, and remove the import as well. And then in app.js, so in app.js I want to remove this from here, and then I want to remove all of this. And you know what, let me remove I don't need to remove that. Actually I can just give this a class name of container, which is going to grab this class from here. Okay, so we can save that, and we can see what we have on the screen if it's opened up, and there we go. Okay, so you can place this to the right, and you can have this to the left, and now I can close this out. There we go. So let's have this as a class of container, and then inside this div, what I want to do is I want to have an h1 that says lorem2, and then below this I want to have a paragraph that says lorem10, and then below this we're going to have a picture tag. So picture, come on, it's not working obviously because I'm recording. And then this picture tag is going to have a source. Come on, what's happening? It's going to have a source, but it's not opening up. So let me just go ahead, and we need to import the images that we're going to use, right? So let me go ahead and import these two images. So I'm going to say import, let me say it looks like a pause button. So import pause from dot slash or dot slash, is it dot slash? Yeah, it's dot slash images, dot slash images, because we're only going up by one folder, dot slash images, and it should be called, let me place this full screen. Let's say pause mobile, because there are two of them. Pause mobile from images pattern dash divider dash mobile dot svg, then copy this down. Oops, copy this down. There we go. What's happening? Okay, pause desktop. This is going to be pause desktop, and this is called desktop, like so. And then we're going to have the source, if it actually works. So source media, for once again, for a minimum of 760 pixels. Now this is now React, so this is going to be camel case, and the source set for this is going to be pose desktop, because you want the desktop image to show when the window width is greater than 760 pixels. And then the fallback, the image is going to be pose mobile, like so. And then below this, we're going to have a div, and this div is going to have a button, and this button is going to be an image, and the source for this is going to be this icon dice. So we need to import it, and I just want to call it dice. So I'm going to say import dice from dot slash images forward slash icon dash dice dot svg. Okay, my computer is a bit slow. I don't know whether I'm dropping frames. Okay, so let's just continue. So let me save this, and we should have this on the screen. Look at that. Now the reason why this is already applied like this is because, once again, remember, I've just copied the styles from the project that we did before in vanilla CSS. Okay, so if you need to go through it, then you can just open this file. We have our variables on top. So the light cyan is this gray text, the neon green is this one, and this background as well. The grayish blue is this container, and then the grayish the dark grayish blue is the body. Okay, and what is important to note as well is about this height. This calculates the height as 100 VH by minus 0.1, which returns the height in pixels instead of viewport heights. Okay, and this is also what centers all of this. So if I comment this out, then it's going to go back to the top. Okay, and it centers it like that because we're using display flex. And then manrop is our font here, and the body has a padding of 1.25 rem to push this inwards, to push the container inwards. If I remove it, then this is what is going to happen. Okay, and what else can we note from here? The button has a user select none, so I can't select the button. Okay, like I can select this other text. And then another thing to note is the container has a padding of 1.25 rem on the top, 1.25 rem on the left and right, and then 3 rem on the bottom, because this is positioned absolute within this container. And then something else, the before and after are actually what add these two horizontal lines. Okay, so if I were to remove all of this, then we would have nothing on the screen. Okay, so that's how I've added in these two, and it involved a lot of trial and error. So you can go ahead, and if you have a better solution, once again, I said this in the last video, that if you have a better solution, then please do go ahead and use the better solution. Okay, and we have the button, which is basically this, and we have the hover state for this. That's why it changes the color just to a slighter darker one because of this. And then the container min with 500 pixels is what limits this to the center. If I remove it, then it's going to go all the way to the end, which I do not want. Okay, so yeah, that is going to be our CSS. So now the next thing that we need to do is we need to create our function to fetch our data, and for that we need to import two hooks from React. So we're going to say import use state and use effect from React. Okay, and then we're going to set up our state values. So const, let me call this what do we need to do actually? Let me say const text and set text, right? And this is going to be equal to use state. By default is going to be an empty array, and then we are going to call our function. We're going to create our function called fetch advice. So const fetch advice is equal to an asynchronous function, and I'm going to say const res equals to await res.json. Okay, sorry, await fetch, and we're fetching the URL, which I do not have. So this is the URL, this one actually, from the API that we're using. So this is the URL to the API. Just go ahead and copy it, and we can paste it inside here. And we can go ahead and say const data equals to await res.json. And then once we do that, remember there's an empty array. We need to populate this array using this function, which will then populate our state value. So we're going to say set text into our data that we get back. Okay. And then the next thing that we need to do is we need to call this function inside a use effect. So I'm going to say use effect, set up my callback function, and then set up an empty dependency array so that the function only runs once. And I'm going to call fetch advice inside here. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this, and let's see what we have. We have a console log. Let me just console log the data, console.log the data, to see what we have on the screen, to see whether we're getting back anything, right? So let me open this up in our console, and we should have object. Okay, so look at that, we have the object. Now the next thing that we do need to do is, I've just realized that I want to change this title because I'm going to forget. So index.html, let me just change this to advice generator app. Okay, and it changes just like that. So what we need to do is we now need to access these properties inside here and then display them on the screen, right? So what we're going to do is inside the h1, okay, we're just going to say place in our curly brackets, and then we're going to say text, because now remember we have populated this state value when we said set text into the data, because remember this is our state value, and then this is the function that controls how we access this state value. Okay, so we want to say text dot sleep dot id, and sleep is coming from here. Okay, so this is the object that is called sleep, and then we want to access the property inside this object called advice and id. So the id is going to be this one, and let's see whether that works. Look at that, it works fantastic. And we just want to have advice hashtag, so advice number, there we go, and we have that. And then for the paragraph inside here, we just want to say paste now our brackets as well, and we just say text.sleep.advice. Okay, so there we go, and would you look at that. And then when you click on this button, then you want this to change. So let's go inside the button here, and we can say on click, we want to place in our inline function, and we're going to say sorry, not our inline function, sorry for that. We're just going to call this function, so the function called fetch advice. So fetch advice, like so. And let's try it out. So when we click on this, there we go, and we can click on it again, and again you'll notice that I'm pausing for a moment before I click on it. That's because the API caches the response for 2 seconds before you can make another get request. So let's click on this, and looking fantastic. Now probably you're going to ask why I have the fetch advice outside the use effect. The reason is because if I would have it inside the use effect, then this will not work. Okay, and it's actually going to throw an error. Look at that, fetch advice is not defined because it's inside a hook. So that's why I have placed it on the outside. Okay, simple reason, simple enough. And another thing is I wanted to mention that you might also notice that we have not used map, right? That's because map is an array method, and what we're getting back as the response is an object and not an array. And if you want to access objects, then you just use dot notation as we have used inside here. Okay, so once we do all that, then the next thing that we do want to do is I want to deploy this to GitHub. So let me just open GitHub, and then I want to deploy it to Netlify as well, and then submit my solution back to Frontend Mentor. So I can close this, and I can close this, and I can close this, and I can actually close this as well. Make sure that there are no warnings or errors. Looking amazing. And then let's create a new repository, and then I'm going to call it ReactJs and advice generator app, like so, and then create repository. And then I'm going to copy this link, okay, and then back inside here, let me close all of this down, and then let's open my integrated terminal. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is just say git remote add origin. You know what, let me explain this first. When you create a new React application, it automatically creates a Git repository for you. It initializes a Git repository for you on your local host. That's why I'm not doing Git init, because I already have it initialized. Okay. Now you can follow all of this, and it will still be the same thing. Okay. So git init, and then I can say git remote add origin and paste in my link, and I can say git push -u origin main, and it's going to push the default React application into the main branch. Okay, so let me just wait for this to run. And then once it runs and I can reload this, then would you look at this? So this is our default React application. Okay. Now the next thing that I want to do is I want to add in the design, the public, and everything else that we've done. Okay, so I'm going to say git add design, and I'm going to say git commit -m. I'm just going to say design files. I'm going to say git add public, and I'm going to say git commit -m, and I just want to say update favicon plus index.html, and I want to change the theme color. Actually, let me change the theme color just so that you have a default theme color on mobile, and I want the theme color to be probably neon green. So let me just grab the hex value, because it's not recommended to add HSL in your index.html theme color. So let's go inside here, and where we have theme color, let's have this. Okay, we can have the description as it is, it doesn't really matter all that much. So let's say git add public once again, and let's say git commit, if I can spell it, commit -m, and I can just say update theme color for the index.html. And then we can go into the source, so cd source, and I can say git add images, git commit, and I can say images. Let's say git add, oops, what I do? Let's say images, like so. Git add app.js, and say git commit fetch data. Okay, fetch and display data. I say git add index.css. I can say git commit. I can say style component as the message. Git add index.js and git commit, and I can say remove unused import like so. And then I need to go out of this, so cd out, and I say git add dot git ignore and git commit, and I can say update dot git ignore, and then I can say read. Oh, you know what, I don't need this readme now, because this is a default readme from React. So let me rename this to readme, like so. And I can say git add readme.md and git commit, and I can say update readme, like so. And then I can say git add style guide.md, and I can say git commit style guide file. And then let's say git add readme, like so. It's readme, and I can say git commit, and I can just say -m, say readme template, which I haven't changed actually. And then remember that we actually deleted some files, so we also need to add them. So git add all and git commit, say deleted files. Okay. Okay, so did I push that? So let's say git push, which is now going to push everything into my remote repository, and we can begin to deploy it to Netlify. Now you might be wondering why I showed that long process of adding git comments. That's because I realized that I do get a lot of questions in my comment section of how to do that, and I thought this would be a good practice. Okay, so let's reload this, and we should see this. Okay, would you look at that? All our files are updated, including our readme. So let's go ahead into Netlify, and I want to say import an existing project from GitHub, and it's called ReactJs advice. So ReactJs advice. Okay, so let's have this, and then it's going to they run the build script and it's going to deploy it. So deploy site. And then let's rename this, change site name into ReactJs advice generator app. Okay, fantastic. So once this finishes deploying, then we should be able to see this on this link, but it's not yet done deploying, and you can actually go into the deploys and you can see it's still building. Okay, so we're just going to wait for a moment and then we'll be able to see the changes. And as that goes ahead and does that, I just want to copy this link and I want to go into Frontend Mentor and submit solution. So the repository URL, I need the live site URL, which is this. The repository URL is this. And I'm just going to say mobile first advice generator app in ReactJs. Okay, we don't need to add the tags and so on and so forth, but we do need this link to be up actually, so it's still building. Okay, so it is done building and we can reload this. And we have our React application not showing. What's happening? Cannot read property. What is this error? What is this error? We did something wrong. What did I do wrong? I mean, it was working a moment ago. Did I do something wrong? Use effect. What? Are you serious? Let's try to run this again because I can't really see where the error is. What is happening? Even our local host isn't running. Cannot read property undefined of read ID. So ID is coming back undefined. Why is ID coming back as undefined? Let me comment all of this. Can we have our console? So what? So the console log is working. The console log is working. Is it because this is running before? Wait, it's because this is running before this can run. Probably that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so what I've done to fix that error is I'm now setting text into data.sleep. Okay, and then inside here we're saying text.id instead of text.sleep.id, and then text.advice instead of text.sleep.advice. So that is that's the only thing that I've changed, and so far it seems to be working correctly, and I'm not really sure why that error occurred in the first place, and I really can't tell why. So let's try and push this back to GitHub and let's see if the deploy is going to work. So git add all and git commit, let's say update component. So let's say git push. And let's see, so WebSocket failed. Of course, that's because I've closed the server, but we can check this out. Let's say 16 seconds ago. So this should trigger a redeploy. Where is it? Building right here. So let's wait a moment and then this should be fantastic. We can close this. So let's close this and we can close this down as well. And let's close this. And is this done? There we go, published. So let's reload this and it works hopefully. And there we go. Okay, so now it is working correctly. While wait and debug. Okay, so we can click on this and we can generate random quotes every 2 seconds. Okay, so that's looking fantastic, and that is going to be the end of it all. But let me remember to submit solution here, and there we go, looking amazing. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Thank you for watching this far, and if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel and I will see you in the next video. So bye bye.